electric cars were supposed to take over. What's stopping them? With any disruptive technology, there's always a tipping point, a moment when it shifts from a niche innovation to a market leader. Electric vehicles, or EVs, are heading straight for that tipping point. They're poised to disrupt the internal combustion engine, the technology most of us still rely on daily. But here's the catch. While the path to dominance is nearly certain, we're not quite there yet. If you ask most people whether their next car will be electric, the answer is still likely no. And that hesitation isn't unfounded. Surveys show most consumers still aren't seriously considering EVs. But it's not because EVs aren't improving. They absolutely are. The issue is we haven't yet hit that perfect mix of price, performance, and practicality. Let's start with cost. Analysts have pinpointed the magic number for widespread EV adoption: $36,000. That's the price where EVs start competing head-to-head with traditional vehicles in the mass market. And guess what? We're already close. Popular models like the Tesla Model 3 and Chevy Bolt are hovering around that threshold. So price? Not the main problem anymore. What about range? Consumers say they want around 291 miles, or 469 kilometers, on a single charge. The Tesla Model 3 and Chevy Bolt are knocking on that door, though the Nissan Leaf still lags behind. And since battery range is directly tied to cost, the battery being the most expensive component, it's significant that battery prices are plummeting. In 2013, a kilowatt-hour cost $668. Today, around $137. And by next year, we're expecting it to drop below $100. That means more range for less money. So now we've got EVs that are almost cheap enough and almost long range enough. We're getting close. The real challenge, the one standing between EVs and their tipping point, is charging. According to consumer research, the average buyer wants to go from 0% to full in just 31 minutes. That's the expectation set by the experience of gassing up in under 5. Unfortunately, today's EVs don't deliver that yet. Take the base Chevy Bolt. It doesn't even support fast charging. The Nissan Leaf can hit 62% in that 31-minute window, and the Tesla Model 3 does best, reaching about 83% under ideal conditions. But in cold weather, expect longer charging times and reduced range. So we're close on price and range, but fast charging is still a major bottleneck. Here's where it gets interesting. Most of our electrical grid runs on alternating current, AC, but batteries, including the ones in EVs, charge using direct current, DC. That's why your phone charger has a little brick. It's converting AC to DC. Now, scale that up. A Tesla Model 3 battery is 4,500 times bigger than your phone's. It needs serious wattage to charge quickly. The car has a 7.7 kilowatt onboard inverter that converts AC to DC, but even at full power, it takes hours to fully charge. To speed things up, we need DC fast chargers, which bypass the car's inverter entirely and pump DC directly into the battery. But these chargers are expensive. Really expensive. A 250 kilowatt charger can cost $57,000 just for the hardware. Add installation, maintenance, and networking, and the price climbs dramatically. Tesla's average supercharging station costs about $250,000 to build. Electrify America's? Closer to $350,000. Here's something most people don't realize. Higher power chargers don't always mean faster charging. Batteries slow down the closer they get to full. The first 20% charges fast, the last 20%, not so much. That's why it's often quicker to charge to 50%, drive, In the US, on the other hand, a basic road trip, say Dallas to Denver, is impossible in some EVs due to 200-plus mile charging gaps. Governments around the world want people to drive EVs. That's why there are tax credits, rebates, and incentives. But incentives alone won't cut it. We need infrastructure, charging stations in particular. Some US states like Colorado and Oklahoma are stepping up, building networks that ensure you can drive across the entire state. But until there's federal coordination, EV drivers will run into dead zones the moment they cross state lines. And it's not just an American issue. In Australia, you can't drive from Perth to Sydney in an EV due to massive charging gaps. In Russia, there are 24 DC fast chargers total. If governments are going to incentivize EVs, they need to prioritize charging. Electric vehicles are affordable, they're practical. The last piece of the puzzle is infrastructure. And that's something only governments can scale effectively. They already manage roads, bridges, power grids, and public transport. So the question isn't, should they build charging stations? It's, why haven't they started?